Hello, and welcome to another episode of Self-Improvement for Women. I am your host, Hope Long, and today I am really excited to bring on someone that I look up to. Her name is Susanne Baumbach. She is a consultant at Proctor-Gallagher Institute, and she's so much more. She knows everything there is to know about abundance and feeling those feelings and being able to manifest that into your lives. And so without further ado, hi, Susanne, how are you?
Thank God, I'm really happy to be here.
I'm so excited. I'd love for you to maybe kind of tell everybody a little bit more about you and kind of what you do and how you help women.
Okay, so I grew up in East Germany. I'm now 44 years of age. I don't say young or old of age. My kids would say you're old, but I'm not. I grew up in communism. And back in the days, it was pretty different from today. So my father has been an engineer. My mom was helping at my grandfather's factory. He was a smith. Childhood for me was pretty, let's say, tense. Dysfunction really was an issue in our family, as my father has been battling alcoholism for about 45 years now. So this is basically how I grew up. And my mom was, she had challenges with all of that. She felt a lot that she wanted to commit suicide. She also mentioned it, and I was always between. I was the oldest kid. Looking from the outside, it was the perfect environment for a kid to, grow up. A farm, the smallest village in Thuringia, the most beautiful village, but mentally, emotionally, it wasn't providing back then what I wish I would have wanted for myself. And I just, today thinking back, of course, I know what went on, but as a kid, I didn't know what was going on. I only saw people around me that all were totally unhappy. My mom she always faked it, but I think this is the thing that any mother is doing. We always try to brave ourselves, put a facade on, keep going, keep grinding. And I pretty early, felt that I want more out of life. There's got to be more. And in East Germany, we weren't provided with information. Like we would have, let's say, a very restricted amount of television channels that we were able to see, like I couldn't see maybe what was going on in different countries to the extent that I could, educate myself. But what was lacking for me was seeing women really in an empowered, happy, wealthy, abundant position, bold, even wild. Haven't seen that. Was wishing for it, but I couldn't see it, in my environment. And
yeah. And so that kind of kickstarted something inside of you, right? Like you had this longing to develop this lifestyle that you've only dreamed of.
Yeah.
So you had these limiting beliefs. You go on and you told me that you had attended university and you went you're very into the ocean, which I love. Yes. Yeah. And you feel a calling there. So you were really interested in marine biology. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. And then somehow this turned into life coaching.
Yes.
How did that go for you?
Well, I think number one, it might be that I grew up, I was born in the month of February, and I always felt a calling to the ocean. As a kid, I was very much into Barbie. Like Barbie, we couldn't buy it when I was back in East Germany. I was always, when I saw them on the television, I was shocked, like really shocked. Like, how do people actually live like this? And yes, besides the pink dolphin, let's put it aside, but this ideal, every one of us has an ideal that we strive for. It's our inner self that always seeks expression. So the low self-image that I had from my childhood, that I learned from my parents, from everybody around me, and I think even our cats had low self-image. It did imprint me, and it did affect me in anything I did. choosing occupations, hanging around with a good community of people. I didn't put myself into trouble, but you choose different relationships. That's always the same pattern. It's a pattern that runs us. So I got into a few trainings, and then after being a single mom of 5 kids in 2019, I took my first ever vacation, and I decided, you know what, kids are in summer camp, let's do fun. And that was, for me to go to Iceland to snorkel with humpback whales. And I have never seen such a country. Like, you drive with your car. First of all, you can't speed. In Iceland, you can't speed. You just, drive really slow. So it takes a fair amount, but it looks a bit like Lord of the Rings all over. You would expect Vikings to come with an axe and threaten you. And then, yeah, really. And you have sheep, and you have mountains, and you have the streets. And then you have more mountains and fog. And, this is the thing. This step, even to say, I go and actually take something for me, was a big one, because the previous me wouldn't have invested in myself. I was conditioned to always, grind, hustle, be there for my kids, sacrifice my life. So when snorkeling with humpback whales, that was a dream. Today, I wouldn't advise anybody more to do it because, it is very intrusive to go into their environment and choose being with them, because they would not be able to ask, or agree. Nobody's asking them, do you want to join me or not? You just simply go in, and that is affecting them. But being on this boat, seeing all this beauty, and I always call them my friends, it does give us an aspect of thinking, there's got to be more to life. It could be anything, a birth of a child or whatever we do in life. But being surrounded by them make me think that I want to make an impact on life on a global scale. Because life isn't only about us. If we think life is about us, it isn't. It is about all the others. It's about becoming better and helping other people or other beings even. And so I was thinking, how about going into marine conservation and study marine biology? And then I thought, nah, we don't need more scientists to prove what we already know. But this planet, what could benefit any one of us is, everybody bettering him or herself. That causes a ripple effect. So then I felt, okay, I went into 2 marine conservation internships where we photograph dolphins, we see the dorsal fins, we observe how the group is going, what species is around, how do they interact. We record it, and they have the idea. Every dorsal fin is an identity, like an identity card even. Mm-hmm. And you can see how's the behavior, how do they move, where can we enforce more laws maybe. But after this trip, actually, I said, I want to do something for myself. And I was seeking for something. I didn't know what it is. Like, we walk around, we always seek for something because we always want to expand. But what I always say is, what you seek for is always seeking you as well. So I was Googling on the internet, and I remember Bob Proctor, I saw him in 2005 or 6 on the movie The Secret. I saw him, I thought, this is a weird guy. Because in one scene he said, when you wake up, you should kiss yourself. And he really he kisses himself. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Like, what? Here I am, about 15, 16 years later, and I'm working for him. So I was Googling around in the internet, on YouTube, these motivational videos of Les Brown and Robin Sharma and Jay Shetty, seeking for something. Because I felt these motivational videos were nice, but they didn't kind of hit the nail on the head. Mm-hmm. So I started Googling around in October 2019. signed up for, a discovery call with one of Bob Proctor's success advisors because I wanted to go into this coaching program. And I was a bit nervous about it because I felt my intuition is doing something with me that I can't control anymore. Like, I'm virtually sitting in front of my computer. There's something profoundly going to change. And I was scared, especially when I was about to book a call with her because she was sending, the link. And I postponed it twice because she kept reminding me, when are you actually going to come? Third time I called her and I went straight into terror barrier and fear. It wasn't the money. It was the fact that I had a concept about who I am as a person. That is our safety, but it can also be a prison if we don't know of it. And what I did then, just decided I'd give it a go. So I went into the program, and that is such a cool thing. We always walk around, have ideas. We only get nervous if we procrastinate a decision, any decision, make a decision. This is what I say, make a decision fast. It might be a stupid decision, or maybe a decision that is not quite the thing, but it can lead to another decision. And within a month, Bob was doing this live event on Facebook for 5 days, where he said, whoever becomes a consultant of him was going to get 3 months of inner circle. And then my intuition kicked in. And I keep saying my intuition is a cute one. Like, really, stuff showed up for me that I didn't have on my plan. It really asked me, sign up to become a consultant. And I was like, what? Why? Like, how can I don't even want to talk to people. I'm so scared. I used to be crossing the street. That is an old pattern from me when I was a kid because I had very harsh atopic dermatitis. I was scared people would look at me. I always perceived myself as so ugly. I was scared people would look at me, would talk to me, because there were incidents where people, just said what they said in regards to my skin condition. And here I am in a place I studied by a man that I considered crazy. I even intend to work for him. And my intuition kept persisting. Sign up, sign up. So I just went in. I think it was the first month rolling that I talked to him the first time. And from then my life wasn't the same anymore. Like anything. It's kind of a joke, a Canadian guy comes into your life, which is Bob Proctor, and your whole life is turned around. But that was the case in my life.
That is so awesome. So, first of all, I love Bob Proctor, and I love the Proctor-Gallagher Institute and all things law of attraction, and really teaching. I love that he teaches people how to feel the feelings of gratitude, feel those feelings of self-love, and which in turn kind of, when you start loving yourself and you're projecting that outward, it's showing people how to love themselves. And we kind of touched on this when we talked before about how it creates this mass movement, which is just, sort of, I'd say, like aligning people with their intuitions and like building this bigger, better picture. Can you elaborate on this a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I grew up hating myself. This is what I was like. I know we shouldn't talk about the past, but I want to only tell you where I started from. As a kid, I always felt that for some reason, my existence is a mistake. The fact that I exist is a mistake. And also, observing what was going on at home, there was a lot of contrast. My mom, of course, did what she did because we always give what we are capable of doing. Same with my father, same with my brother, anybody. But the self-image, we are born into this world. Kids are born and their subconscious mind is open. Whatever happens around them is going to fall in, and it's going to build a belief that they hold about themselves. We might not even be aware of who we really are unless we really see, the results. They can basically trace back to a belief that we hold about ourselves, that we hold. But the trouble is those beliefs, they run us. They are always seeking devices. Whatever belief you have, it will make sure that you get what you believe in. We get always what we believe in. We don't get what we want.
Mhm.
So it took a long time. And the trouble is, what I figured out 3 years ago, I didn't know who I am. How could I change something in my life if I don't know who I am? I have a name, I have a physical body, I have a mind. But people, when you ask them, how are you, or who are you, they say their name, but this is not us. We are a soul. That's all that we are. The rest are circumstances that we create, but we can also change them. The home is the physical body, but we can even alterate this physical body. So for me to start studying who I am, what I am, how to use this I am, I keep saying I am is the most powerful we can ever say. I am, this is infinite. The other stuff is circumstance, I'm bold, whatever. This is the design, but I am, this is the power that we have. So this was the first time actually somebody really asked me, from all the goals that you have, what do you really want? Like, seriously, somebody's asking me, like, what? What do you want? It's not about the gender, the race, bank account, the circumstances, the religion, how many kids you have, and I have 5. Previously, it was like, oh my God, you're a single mother, you have to put your desires back on the back burner and have to dedicate everything for your kids. Now it was, I'm surrounded, by millionaires asking me, what do you want? This is totally different conversation, especially when we learn that we actually have infinite potential and we can tap in. But we can't if we don't know who we are. There's an inner self, and I keep, uncovering still, peel after peel of who I am. This is a lifelong journey. We will always dig deeper and deeper. And this is the thing, as kids, we are our higher self. Kids, they don't care. Like a whole neighborhood will know if a baby is happy or not. And if it isn't happy, for sure, the neighborhood will know. And at some point, as kids, we learn, don't dream anymore. Who do you think you are? Be in the real world. Boys get told to be, manning up. Girls have to be adjusted, fine. They have to be quiet and modest.
Mhm.
And then, that light kind of dims to the outer world. It's still there. But it's a bit like, you chop off the wings of an angel.
Yeah.
And education, this is the thing, education is holy. But the biggest education would be get to know who you are. And, I can only start liking something that I know. If it's only this, there is this me, I don't know what it is, scary thing, then it's wholly different.
Right. So for the people that are watching right now, what kind of advice would you give? Maybe we could phrase it this way. What advice would you give your younger self in terms of, practicing, this mindset of worth and deserving, all the things in life that you want, and figuring out who you are?
Number 1, keep remembering you are a soul. Okay? And infinite. Infinite. And this is what Tony Robbins, I think, said, life happens for us, not to us.
Yep.
And we constantly create, like it or not. But we will always create what we are. It's like a mirror,
Mhm.
And I keep saying, there's two very important points in life. Number one, the physical birth, when we make our debut into this world. But the most important day is when you really set for a C-type goal. That is the reason why you are here on this planet. Go big for this, because a C-type goal is all about who you become on this journey. It's about how many people's lives will you impact, or beings impact. It could be also, you want to maybe impact nature in a good way.
Mhm.
Self-love can only be when we study us. If I learn about something, if I educate myself about myself, when I get to know who I am, when I get to know where are the places where I can actually, change something about my life. When I grew up, I felt maybe there's nothing more to life than this. Our perception of ourselves is always going to be based upon what my beliefs say. So my mom had beliefs, she couldn't leave my father, which I wish she would have done. And also, going back, I would have told myself, we always do our best. So every stage, and like everybody, we have good times and we have times that really suck. But as crazy as it sounds, we are always at the stage where we are supposed to be. All these, in life, like, my father battling with alcoholism, my mom wanting to kill herself, the crazy haircuts that I had, like I always changed haircuts. I didn't do weird stuff though, but all of those made me ready. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been ready for coaching. So I went to therapy, But the most important thing I would tell this girl, maybe, there's a whole world waiting for you, okay? I kept thinking, what goals am I worthy of? I would tell this girl, listen, what goals are worthy of you? Whole different discussion.
Yeah.
What goal is worthy of you? We are the highest form of creation on this planet. And we settle for 9 to 5. We settle for surviving. People walking around planning their funeral. People planning retirement at age 20, and they didn't even go for, a trip. They didn't even go to Chanel, which is another story. But still, like, why? Why? Because education keeps telling us, survive. When we want to change, if I would have wanted to change myself as a kid, that was scary, the thought of it, because I kept watching the movie My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to have somebody by my side like Professor Higgins, who would turn me into this lady, like Eliza Doolittle, who would see something and seeking for a mentor. Life can be so different, and this is what I would have wanted to tell myself. And most importantly, that I would have told myself, you are more loved than you can even perceive, because obviously God got me ready for something. There were points where I felt, okay, there could be an easy way. Maybe a WhatsApp message from God would just, kind of nail the deal. I don't need all those lessons. I didn't want these lessons. Why these lessons? I didn't like it. It was scary at times. And it's all good. We are all on a journey.
Mhm.
We become us if we study who we are. We go back to where we were as a kid.
Yes. Yes. So you mentioned surviving, like we all just kind of
Yeah.
survive and we get through our 9 to 5s and then we can't wait for like 55 to get here so we can retire. Or
Yeah.
for, in some cases it's 65. Well, if you're like me, you're 30 years old right now, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can't wait for another 30 years to go by. I have 30 years. Like, that's a long time to like be doing something that feels, abundant and feels intuitive and feels, in alignment. Right. And so, yes. So the difference between surviving and thriving, because I
Mhm.
feel like in so many cases, if you can start thriving and stop surviving, it's going to feel like, your life, it completes it a little bit more. It feels more, aligned and fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much. I want to ask you one more thing before we end. Okay.
Okay.
So, and it's something I just started doing. If you were to leave the earth tomorrow, what is one thing that you would say that you would want to leave with the world?
Carpe diem, enjoy the day. Enjoy it. It could be any, we could go, situations are, anything in life just is. What we make out of it is our thinking. It could be anything, but we are all about energy. We are a mess of energy. What we do with energy is different. We can use energy to have faith, so we believe in good, but we can also use energy for fear, where we believe in something bad happening.
Mhm.
It's all the same. But carpe diem, is a nice one. Use the day. Use the day. You use the day. Uses you. There's a big difference.
Yes.
And maybe, if I'm really hilarious that day, I'm going to say have one hell of a party. But yeah, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, Susanne, thank you so much for being with us today and for giving your perspective on everything. You are really your joy to talk to, and I could just listen to you for hours. But thank you again. You guys, you can check Susanne out. She's got LinkedIn, she's got Facebook, she's got TikTok, and all of that is here at the bottom. If you want to connect with me, you know where to reach me on Facebook, slide into my DMs. If you want to reach Susanne, connect with her, get on her Insta or her TikTok, and let's continue to build a better world, and let's continue our friendships, and let's stay empowered as women and live in our birthright of abundance and luxury. Thank you again, Susanne. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time, guys.